My name is Alex. I'm 32 years old and I live in Austin, Texas. Something really scary happened to me 2 years ago. It changed the way I do things now. To this day, I always check the back seat of my car before I get in. Every single time. Even if I'm in a hurry, even if it's sunny outside, I open the back door and look inside. It might sound silly, but I have a good reason. Let me tell you what happened. It all started on a dating app. I matched with a girl named Chloe. Her profile was full of happy pictures, her hiking in the mountains, smiling in a coffee shop, playing with her dog Milo. She said she was a graphic designer and loved the same movies I did. We talked every day for 3 whole weeks. We talked about our favorite foods, our families, and things we wanted to do in the future. I felt like I really knew her. I was very excited to finally meet her in person. We decided to meet at a restaurant downtown. It was a nice Italian place called Vesper. I picked it because it was in a busy area with lots of people around. I thought it would be safe. I got to the restaurant early. I sat at a table outside under little string lights that glowed in the dark. I texted Chloe, "I'm here. I have a table under the lights." She texted back right away. "Perfect. Walking up now. I'm wearing a blue dress." I kept looking at the sidewalk, watching people walk by. And then I saw her. She looked just like her photos. Same hair, same smile. She waved and walked over to the table. But as soon as she sat down, something felt off. The happy, chatty person I had been texting was gone. Now she was very quiet. She didn't smile much. When I asked her questions, she gave short answers like yes or no. But her eyes were moving all the time, looking behind me, looking at other tables, looking out at the street. It was like she was nervous or waiting for someone. I tried to tell myself, maybe she's just shy. Maybe I'm talking too much. We ordered some food, but we barely ate. It was quiet and awkward. After about 10 minutes, she stood up fast. "I have to go to the bathroom," she said. She didn't look at me. She grabbed her purse and walked into the restaurant. I waited for her. 5 minutes went by, then 10. I texted her, "Is everything okay?" No reply. 15 minutes passed. I started to feel embarrassed. Did she leave? Was I just sitting here alone? I waved over the waiter, but before I could say anything, the hostess, a young woman standing near the door, walked over to me. She leaned in and whispered, "Sir, she left a while ago. She went through the kitchen and out the back door." My face got hot. I felt stupid. I paid for the food and left the restaurant. Now I just wanted to go home. My car was parked in a parking garage about a block away. It was completely dark outside now. The garage was big, quiet, and kind of creepy. The lights flickered, my footsteps echoed. There were long shadows everywhere. My car, a gray SUV, was on the 3rd floor, in the corner, away from the stairs. As I got closer to my car, I saw something on the windshield. It was a piece of paper, tucked under the wiper blade. Oh, great, I thought. A parking ticket, just what I need. I pulled the paper out. It wasn't a ticket. It was a small piece of notebook paper folded in half. I opened it up. The writing was messy, like someone wrote it in a hurry. It said, "Do not get in your car. He is in the back seat. Walk away now and call the police. I am sorry. Chloe." I stopped moving. My whole body felt cold. I stared at the note. Then I stared at my car. The windows were tinted dark, so I couldn't see inside. Is this a joke? I thought. Did she do this to scare me because she left? But the note looked real. The handwriting was shaky, and it was on my car, my exact car, in this dark corner at the garage. I got really scared. Without thinking, I took 3 steps back, then quickly moved behind a big concrete pillar. I crouched down so no one could see me. My heart was beating so hard I could hear it in my ears. I pulled out my phone to call 911, but I paused. What would I say? I got a note on my car? I decided to wait. I would watch my car and see if anything happened. So I stayed behind the pillar, peeking out just a little. I watched my car. The garage was silent, except for a dripping sound somewhere. 1 minute passed, 2 minutes. Then I saw it. The inside light of my car turned on for just 1 second, then went off. Someone was in my car. They had moved and bumped the light. There was a person in my back seat. Real fear shot through my body. My hands were shaking so much I almost dropped my phone. I finally pressed 911. A lady's calm voice answered. 911, what's your emergency? I whispered into the phone. There's someone hiding in the back seat of my car, in the parking garage. Please send police now. I told her the address. She told me to stay hidden and stay calm. I stayed behind the pillar, watching my car, waiting for the police. It felt like forever. Then I heard them, sirens in the distance. They got louder and louder. Red and blue lights flashed into the garage entrance. The second the sirens were really loud, the back door of my SUV swung open. A man jumped out. He was tall and wearing all black. Black pants, black hoodie, black hat. He didn't look at me. He just ran, fast, toward the stairwell at the other end of the garage. One police officer ran after him. The other officer came over to me. He asked if I was okay. They never caught the man. He got away. The police searched my car. When the officer came back, his face was serious. He asked me, "Was your car locked when you left it?" I said, "Yes, I always lock it. I heard the beep." The officer nodded slowly. He was a pro, someone who knows how to get into cars quickly. It takes seconds. Then he told me what they found in the back seat. A big knife, a roll of duct tape, and plastic zip ties. I felt sick. I sat down on the concrete because my legs felt weak. Later, I wanted to understand what happened. I found the real Chloe on Instagram. I sent her a message and explained everything. She wrote back, terrified. Her photos had been stolen. Someone made a fake dating profile using her pictures. That wasn't her at the restaurant. It was someone else working with the man in my car. She said she was the third person to contact her about this. The other two guys had been stood up on dates. I was the first one who got a warning note. She told me she must have seen the man near my car. She got scared, wrote the note fast on a piece of paper she found in her purse, put it on my windshield, and ran away. The police told me it was a team of 2 people. One person pretends to be the date to get information about you and your car. The other hides in your car and waits. They had probably done this before. I sold my SUV the next week. Now I drive a small blue car, and I don't have dark windows anymore. I want to be able to see inside. I kept that note. I have it in my desk at home. Sometimes when I feel brave, I take it out and read it again. It reminds me of what happened. The scariest part of that night wasn't the girl who left the restaurant. It was the man who stayed behind. He was hiding in my back seat, waiting for me to get in, waiting to hurt me. And that's why I always check my back seat. The woman who lived through it asked me not to use her real name. I'll call her Maya. She told me this happened last fall in a quiet college town in the Midwest. And she survived because of one thing she did that she was almost too embarrassed to do. Maya was a graduate student, busy with her studies and feeling a bit lonely. A friend convinced her to try a dating app just to meet new people. She was careful. She matched with a guy named Leo. His profile seemed normal. Pictures of him camping, playing with a golden retriever, and smiling with friends at a football game. He said he worked in IT at the local hospital. They texted for almost a month. He never pressured her. He was patient, funny, and seemed genuinely interested in her research. He felt safe. When he finally asked to meet, he suggested a popular ice cream parlor on Main Street in the middle of the afternoon, a weekend, lots of families around.
It felt like the most harmless date imaginable. Maya got there first. Leo arrived a few minutes later. He looked like his photos, tall, friendly face, wearing a simple jacket. But like the last story, the energy was off. The easy chatter from their texts was gone. He seemed distracted, his eyes constantly scanning the street outside the big windows. He asked her strange, specific questions, not about her interests, but about her routine. "What's your week like?" he asked, stirring his ice cream. "Do you stay late on campus? Do you usually walk home from the library?" Maya felt a prickle of unease, but pushed it away. He's just making conversation, she told herself. After about 30 minutes, Leo's phone buzzed. He looked at it, and his face fell. You've got to be kidding me," he sighed, showing her the screen. It was a text thread. The top message read, "Dude, the pipes burst. Your basement is flooding. Call me ASAP." "I am so sorry, Maya. This is a disaster. My roommate's out of town. I have to go deal with this right now." He stood up, gathering his things. Then he paused. "Listen, my car is in the shop. I biked here. Is there any way you could give me a lift to my house? It's literally 5 minutes away. I can run in, shut the water off, and then I'll get an Uber back. I would be so grateful." Every cell in Maya's body screamed no. It was the classic textbook trap she'd heard about in safety talks. But looking at his worried face, and with the sunny, busy street right outside, her fear of being rude battled with her fear of being harmed. She couldn't say yes, but she also couldn't just say no and walk away. She felt frozen. Then she remembered something her little sister had told her. They had a code for uncomfortable situations. If one of them texted a specific emoji, a red heart, it meant, "I am unsafe. Call me with an emergency right now." Maya made a decision. She would not get in a car with him, but she would also not let him follow her to her car. "You know what?" she said, forcing a smile. "Let me just call my sister really quick. She was supposed to pick something up from me today. Let me see where she is." Leo's smile tightened slightly. "Oh, sure, of course." Maya pulled out her phone. She opened her texts with her sister. She didn't call. She quickly typed, "Red heart, ice cream parlor on Main Street, now. Keep talking when you call." She hit send. 3 seconds later, her phone rang. Her sister's name flashed on the screen. Maya answered, putting it on speakerphone so Leo could hear. "Hey, Maya, thank God you picked up. Mom just took a really bad fall down the stairs. I'm at the house with her now. The ambulance is on its way, but I need you to meet me at Mercy Hospital, right now. Can you get there?" Maya's acting wasn't great, but the panic in her sister's voice was very real, because her sister believed it was real. "Oh my God, is she okay? Yes, I'm leaving right now." She looked at Leo, her face now a mask of real distress. "I am so sorry. My mom, I have to go to the hospital." The change in Leo was instant and chilling. All the friendly, worried pretense dropped away. His face went flat and empty. He just stared at her for a long, cold second. He didn't say, "I hope she's okay." He didn't offer any comfort. He just gave a single, slow nod. "Okay," he said, his voice now completely devoid of warmth. "Then go." Maya didn't wait. She turned and almost ran out of the parlor. She didn't go to her car, which was parked just down the street. Instead, she ducked into the crowded women's clothing store next door. From a rack near the window, shaking, she watched the street. She saw Leo exit the ice cream parlor. He didn't look stressed about a flooded basement. He didn't pull out a phone. He stood on the sidewalk for a full minute, staring in the direction of her car. Then he walked, not toward any residential neighborhood, but toward the large, mostly empty public parking garage 2 blocks away. He walked with purpose, not hurry. Maya stayed in the store for 20 minutes, then called a friend to come pick her up from the back entrance. She never went back for her car that day. That night, she did some digging. Using her first name and a detail about the hospital she supposedly worked at, she searched online. She found a local news article from 2 years prior. It was about a woman who had been assaulted after giving a man she'd just met a ride home. The police sketch in that article was a rough match. The man had used a similar story about a broken-down car. The case was never solved. Maya never reported it to the police. She was too afraid, and she felt she had no real proof. But she did something else. She went back to the dating app and carefully looked through the profiles of men in her area, and she found him. It was a different name, different photos, but the eyes were the same. And in one picture, he was wearing the same distinctive jacket he'd worn to their ice cream date. He was still out there, using the same playbook. She reported that profile with a detailed description of what happened. It was removed within a day. Maya told me she survived for 2 reasons. First, she had a safety plan with her sister, a code that triggered immediate, believable action. And second, when her gut screamed at her, she finally listened, even though it meant creating a dramatic scene and feeling embarrassed. She said the feeling that haunts her isn't just fear, it's the memory of his face when the friendly mask slipped off. It wasn't anger, it wasn't frustration, it was nothing. A blank, cold wall, the look of a hunter whose prey just unexpectedly got away. She told me her story so others might remember. It's better to feel rude or silly or cause a scene than to get into a car with a stranger. Your safety is worth 1,000 awkward moments. And always, always have a code with someone you trust. That one embarrassing text might be the thing that saves your life. My name is Ethan. I'm 31 now, and this happened to me a few years ago, not long after I moved to Seattle. It's a different kind of story. It didn't involve a dark parking lot or a hidden attacker. This was quieter, slower, and in a way it got deeper under my skin. It was about a person who didn't want to hurt my body. She wanted to rewrite my life. I was new in the city, working a tech job, and pretty lonely. I decided to try one of those dating apps that promise more serious connections. That's where I met Clara. Her profile was incredible. She was a freelance photographer. Her pictures weren't just selfies, they were artistic, moody shots of rain on windows and forests at dusk. She seemed smart, deep. Our conversations were unlike any I'd had before. We'd talk for hours about films, the meaning of success, our childhood dreams. She remembered everything. If I mentioned I loved a specific band in passing, she'd message me a week later with a link to their rare live performance. She felt perfectly made for me. We had our first date at a little cafe in an art gallery. She was even more captivating in person, sharp, funny, her eyes never leaving mine. The date flew by. We talked for 4 hours. Things moved fast, but it felt natural, even destined. The second date was a hike, the third, cooking dinner at my new apartment. Within a month, we were in a relationship. She became the center of my new world in Seattle. I felt lucky. Then, almost without me noticing, the world started to shrink. It began with my friends. Clara was always subtly concerned about them. She'd say my buddy from college had a negative energy or that my coworker seemed secretly competitive with me. I just see how amazing you are, and I don't think they have your best interests at heart. Slowly, I saw my friends less. Then it was my Saturday soccer league. I loved it. After I got a minor sprain, Clara's worry took over. What if it's your knee next time? I just can't bear the thought of you getting seriously hurt. It makes me so anxious. The game became associated with her fear. I stopped playing. I realized her own life was a mystery. She never introduced me to a single friend or family member. She said she was estranged from her family and her close friends had all moved away. Her photography work was always these vague, ongoing personal projects. She was just always available for me. The moment that broke the spell was a Wednesday. I had had a frustrating day at work and vented to Clara about my boss being overly controlling on a project. The next morning, I got a LinkedIn message from a recruiter at a rival company offering me an interview for a similar role. It was a great offer. Confused, I asked her how she'd found me. "Oh," she wrote back, "your girlfriend Clara contacted me directly. She said you were exploring new opportunities and highly recommended you. She's quite the advocate." My stomach dropped. I never gave Clara my LinkedIn. I never even told her my last name. She had found me, searched for me, and then contacted a stranger about my career? That night I confronted her, hurt and angry. She didn't apologize. Her eyes welled up with tears. "I was trying to help you, Ethan. I see how unhappy you are. I did it because I love you. I just want you to be happy." She turned my anger into cruelty. I ended up comforting her. But the seed was planted. I started to look closer. Clara never appeared in any online photography portfolios. A reverse image search on one of her profile pictures led to a stock photo site and a years-old inactive Instagram account belonging to a woman in Germany. Clara wasn't just using a fake name. Her entire identity was stolen. I was terrified. I knew I had to end it, but I was scared of her reaction. I planned it carefully. I took her to a busy public park. I told her calmly that I needed space, that things were moving too fast for me. Her face went still. All the warmth drained away. "You're confused, Ethan," she said, her voice flat and quiet. "We are perfect together. You'll see. You just need time to understand." I told her it was over. I walked away and blocked her on everything. I thought that was it. I was wrong. 2 days later, a bouquet of lilies, my favorite flower, which I'd mentioned once, arrived at my apartment building's front desk. No card. Then a book I said I wanted to read appeared leaning against my front door. Then the handwritten letters started, slipped under the door. They were love letters, quoting our conversations, telling me I was lost without her. She knew my address, and I realized with a jolt of ice in my veins that she still had a key to my apartment. I'd never asked for it back. I changed the locks the same hour. I filed a police report, but they said without explicit threats, it was just a report. I warned my building manager. The worst night was a few weeks later. I was watching TV when I heard a faint scritch, scritch, scritch at my door. I muted everything. It was the sound of a key trying to turn in the new, unfamiliar lock. Then her voice, soft and pleading, whispered through the wood. "Ethan, it's me. I know you're there. Please let me in. I just want to talk. It's so cold out here." I didn't move. I didn't breathe. I watched the doorknob twist slowly back and forth for what felt like an hour. Then silence. I called the police. She was gone when they came, but tucked into the frame was another note. It said, "A new lock can't protect you from the truth. I'll wait." That was the last time I heard her voice, but the harassment shifted online. I found nasty fake reviews under my name on my company's page. Strange subscriptions were started in my name. Password reset emails for old accounts flooded my inbox. Someone was trying to hack into my digital life. In the end, I had to burn it all down. I moved to a new apartment across the city with an unlisted address. I deleted all my social media. I changed my phone number. I erased the digital trail she had followed. I never found out who she really was. The Clara I knew was a ghost, a puppet made of stolen photos and carefully rehearsed lines designed to fit perfectly into my loneliness. The horror wasn't in a sudden attack. It was in the slow, quiet realization that I had let a stranger not just into my home, but into my mind.
She wasn't hiding in my back seat. She was trying to build the seat herself and convince me it was where I was meant to sit forever. I survived by finally trusting the chill in my gut, by digging for the truth when it was easier to believe the lie, and by being willing to disappear and start completely over. Sometimes survival doesn't look like running from a monster. It looks like changing your name on the internet, looking over your shoulder in your own neighborhood, and knowing that the most perfect person you ever met was never a person at all.